Good afternoon, everyone. We are Group A, and we have chose to focus our discussion for today on data collection and how to recruit research participants. Members of the group are Sophie and Owusua from Hong Kong Polytechnic University, Rebecca and Anika from Malmo U, Kate and Melissa from Melbourne Latrobe University.
A study analyzing existing guidance regarding payment of research subjects in 32 US research organizations showed that approximately 40% had written guidelines regarding paying subjects. To pay or not to pay, that is the question.
The data collection and the recruitment of the participants is our foundation and what we will build our results upon.
For instance, if we want to study a population and only fractions want to participate,
the whole picture may not fully be shown.
What causes the researchers to pay the participants? If we want answers to our questions, it might be necessary to pay when recruiting the subjects. We all want enough participants, or actually as many as possible. We don't fancy dropouts, do we?
Payment can be bittersweet. If we choose to pay our participant, we might end up with a huge sample, but we also risk to get a skewed sample and might face ethical issues like undue indictment and coercion.
Several studies illuminate different aspects of how to recruit participants, as well as highlights multiple refusal factors. We will present a selection of them in this presentation. Lack of cultural sensitivity, lack of knowledge about health literacy and difficulties to understand the importance of healthcare research, mistrust of research, healthcare system and government, intrusive and burdensome, respect and needs for privacy, language barriers, fear of strangers and superstition, poor timing, for instance, non-working hours or previous bad research experiences. We have chosen to focus on this aspect, the lack of benefits.
Again, we ask the question, to pay or not to pay?
the argument for not paying is based on our common ethical principles. Voluntary participation refers to a human research subject's exercise of free will in deciding whether or not to participate in a research activity. But
is it enough to say thank you?
Factors that motivate us to participate in research might be that we see research as a source of knowledge, or that we hope to get or gain some advantages. We hope for personal therapeutic benefits. Altruism makes us willing to do things that bring advantages to others, even if it results in disadvantage for yourself or some kind of payment.
So why would you pay when you recruit participants? Out of respect? For instance, respect of their time? You want to recognize participants particularly for their time investment. Usually, data collection occurs during daytime and not during non-working hours. Time is money, so as to speak. As said before, payment could be a motivating factor to participate in the research. Last but not least, you want to show participants your appreciation of their time.
In some cultures, the invited participant asks for benefits, and some people might avoid to participate if there's no advantages. So, if you have decided to pay, how much is enough?
If we pay too little, the participant might get offended or insulted.
and if we pay too much, it can be considered as a bribe or a coercion. If you want to pay, the amount of value depends on what you ask the participant to do. A fair wage in everybody's eyes.
It doesn't have to be money. Benefits can come in various ways. Here are some examples of how researchers can show their gratitude. Vouchers, for example groceries. For those to be valuable, the participants need to know what to do with them, and this could be different in different cultures. Coupons, for example, for meal or food, drinks, coffee, prize drawings, for instance to win an iPad. Presents or souvenirs. Those doesn't have to be expensive, they could be kind of cheap but still represent a way of showing our appreciation. Average lunch pack, travel expenses, and of course, pure money, real cash.
Let us give you an example. When I did my data collection with Australian Aboriginal people, I used vouchers. During my research and in preparation for data collection, I became aware of some prime ways to recruit participants and how to engage and motivate them in research. I did this by inquiring with the community elders who gave me advice that was appropriate for that particular population and that particular group of people.
Talk to the chief or community leaders and established gatekeepers. Talk to them and seek answers in the community of how to recruit participants. Learn from them and the participants' history and get to know their opinion.
It all comes down to building relationships. If I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Becoming a member of the community. And it's also about showing respect for the participants' knowledge, since it's valuable for you as a researcher.
It is about creating relationships and learning to trust each other. As an Aboriginal elder said to me, it's the 3 R's: respect, relationship, and reciprocity.
So, it is wrong or right to pay. It is unethical to pay. Our statement is:
We believe that researchers must be aware of the unique and defining characteristics of the population from which they want to recruit as part of their study. What is culturally important for the community that we want to study? Even though you're different, you have to know your participants and their culture.
It is important that we are aware of the cultural norms and that we understand the participants. The answer to our question whether to pay or not to pay is both yes and no. It certainly depends on the participants and their culture and what is most appropriate for them.
This complicated dilemma has unfortunately no silver bullet, but key words to bear in mind are participants' integrity and respect.
If you're interested to know more about this subject, we have used these references.